Hello, good morning everybody, and a warm welcome to the Licensing Subcommittee for Thursday the 8th of November at 10 o'clock. Welcome to everybody in the room and to all viewers watching live on the Council YouTube channel, Hillingdon, London. Morning all. A little bit of housekeeping first of all. We're not expecting a fire alarm. If it does go off, it's the real thing. So if you go back out the way you came in or on my right, and we can meet outside the Slugger-Netties bus, closing down now, isn't it? Oh. Which is apt for a licensing meeting. Mobile phones, please turn them off, especially my councillor colleagues. Let me just check my ones off. Yep. Right, details of the business being considered today is shown on the agenda, copies of which are available in the room and is also accessible online under live broadcast. For those present in the room and intending to speak, please note you'll be filmed and any statements you make will be recorded and made in public. To be heard, you need to toggle on, toggle off on your microphone, speakers, whatever you like to call them. Yeah, we got that. We got on the fire alarm. Right, let's move straight to the agenda. Apologies for absence.
We've had no apologies.
All right, declarations of any interest in matters coming for the meeting? No interest. To confirm the items we've marked in business in part one, it's all in part one, so we don't need to go into that. Matters that have been notified in advance or urgent?
None. Great.
Right, moving on. Ginny. Oh, let me do... Forgot all about that. I'm Councillor Roy Chamdale. I'm the chairman of the committee. Me in making the decisions. We have Councillor Lynn Allen and Councillor Teddy Barnes. We've also have Luke Taylor from Democratic Services. Make sure I follow procedure and to make sure all our decisions are right and just. We have Kenry Monroe from our legal team. We have other people around it. If you could introduce who you are and why you are here, that'd be great. If you start on the left-hand side and move all the way around. Again, toggle on, toggle off.
Jeannie Mukherjee, Licensing Service, London Borough of Hillingdon.
Thank you.
My name is Fatima Namul Haq. I am an applicant license holder. Yeah.
It's Ali bin Khalid, and I'm an applicant representative.
Sorry, you're doing what?
I'm representing Fatima Namul Haq.
Thank you.
Councillor David Yarrow, the Ward Councillor for Uxbridge North, in which the application is situated.
Thank you, sir. Lynn Allen and Teddy Barnes, I'll do it.
Thank you, and Councillor Teddy Barnes.
Right, now we can start, Jenny.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning to all of you. Today's hearing is in relation to a street trading application submitted by Mrs. Fatima Inamul Haq, who is trading under the company name Original Warrior Limited. This is an application relating to a new temporary pitch license projecting 1 meter from the edge of 2 redundant telephone kiosks on Uxbridge High Street. These kiosks were granted planning and listed building consent for change of use to A1 retail use in March 2016. The applicant was found to be trading unlicensed earlier in August and subsequently was issued with FPNs. She was advised to obtain street trading consent thereafter. I have confirmation from the environmental enforcement team that both the FPNs which were issued to the applicant on 8th of August for unlicensed street trading and for obstruction of the highways have been paid in full. This is a new application submitted with revised plans on 19th of September 2018. The consultation for this application ended on 10th of October 2018. We have received 2 objections relating to this application, which are appended as appendices 3 and 4. One is from Councillor David Yarrow and the other is from Councillor Keith Burrows. We have not received any objections from the Highways Service or the Antisocial Behaviour and Environment team. The Highways Service has further confirmed that due to a pitch size of only 1 meter, there should be sufficient space for pedestrians to use the street. This report is based on the information we had at the time. In the intervening period, that's between the submission of the report and today's hearing, it has come to light that there have been failures on the part of the applicant to comply with certain planning restrictions. However, this street trading application is pursuant to the London Local Authorities Act 1990, which is a separate regime from that of planning, and will therefore be dealt with separately. Therefore, notwithstanding the planning issues, this is a valid street trading application. I would now invite the committee to determine this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginny. Just a few clarifications. You say there were issue with a fixed penalty notice, and are these, once again, are they outstanding or they have been paid?
They have been paid in full, Chairman.
Also on page, if you go to page 15 of our information pack, can we just confirm once again on point 7.2, point D, there is enough physical space within the proposed trading location, is that correct?
Yes, Chairman.
And further on, right down at the bottom, paragraph 2.1, you made, I'm going to have legal coming on to this actually first. Could you, Kerry's just going to make a statement.
I'm pleased that Ms Mukherjee has explained that the planning regime and the licensing regimes are two different entities. I think because it could be construed that there's an overlap because these particular telephone boxes are grade 2 listing, and a street license is proposed to run on these grade 2 special architecture buildings. But for clarity, the issue with the listed buildings has to be dealt with by the planning department, and from reading the papers it does appear that there is outstanding issues. I mean, with the operation time, with the weather-proof, I think it's the roof, and also with the chillers. This is issues that need to be run past planning because it's integral to deciding if permission is going to be granted for the license to run on these special architectural buildings, because in England there's not many listed buildings, and those that are listed buildings are protected, and when any alterations or modifications are happening on them, the local planning authority has to take very methodical considerations on it. So what I would urge today is for the applicant, notwithstanding the street licensing taking place today, the determination if you're going to be granted it, but it's pertinent for the applicant to make an application. There's two applications that would need to be made to the planning department: the operations planning application, and also an application to the listing buildings team to decide if permission is going to be granted in addition to these chillers and the roof weatherproofing and the change with the operation times. The submissions that have been made by Councillor Burrows and Councillor Yarrow are intelligent representations, but I'm minded, and I have to highlight that it belongs to the planning department to decide. But they can be raised here today, but the decision maker, this chairman, I don't think has any capacity to take these on board because it doesn't belong in the street licensing domain. So I think that clarifies the issues, and it's been already highlighted by the licensing officer today. So I hope everybody is clear. I hope the public is clear, and we'll proceed forward now.
Now you know why Kerry's a lawyer. I would have just said, we only do it on the licensing objectives. That's it. Thank you for that, Kerry. Right. On page 16 of your information pack, we're still with Ginny, by the way. Point A under paragraph 10.5. there are enough street traders. How many street traders are there in terms of... I know you made a comment in one of your emails that there's one other trader. I think there's two.
Yeah, there are 2 other tobacconists and quite a few shops selling confectionery.
So do we know how close these shops are? So I know one is right, sort of opposite it.
One is inside the tube station.
And one's inside the tube station, so they're quite close together. Okay. Also, the operating times, Ginny. We seem to have an operating... Could you give us some more clarification on the opening times? Because it says it's different from what was on their planning application.
Yes, Chairman. I checked it with the applicant. So in their application, they have mentioned the times as 8 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. in the evening, all days. But when I pointed it out to the applicant that the planning permission states the timings as Monday to Friday from 8 till 6, Saturdays from 8 till 7, and Sundays and bank holidays from 9 till 6 p.m. in the evening, he understood that and he agreed that they will change the timing accordingly with the planning permission.
So just summarise Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. What are the hours now?
So the hours will be Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. Sundays and bank holidays, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
And are shops that sell similar goods to what the applicant is proposing, are their opening times and closing times similar to these hours?
The opening times are similar, around 8.
Any questions, councillors? Councillor Allen.
Thank you. Question to Ginny. We're talking about saturation point. Has that gone through the council? Because we had the issue with betting shops where we were not allowed to stop any betting shop because the council did not have a policy on saturation. Has it got a saturation on these goods?
We are aware that there are 2 other shops selling tobacco products, but
I know the council's aware that there's more shops, but has the council now adopted a policy that says there can be no more than X amount of these shops?
No, councillor.
Thank you.
We have.
So just coming on that, on page 17, point E, I think the council is alluding to that, needs of the area. The council will consider demand for articles on geographical location of the proposed site. I think the point has been made, there's other shops around there. Do we know exactly how many there are that sell? I understand you said about tobacco, there's 2 shops. In terms of other goods that they will be selling, how many shops do we have?
There's W.H. Smith, there's Poundland.
Just a number will do.
Around
do
2
you
to
advertise
3.
shops? We're live?
Around 2 to 3, I'd say. Yeah.
Councillor Barnes.
Ginny, I think there'll be more than that if you take in the coffee shops as well. That will obviously sell the confectionery or the fizzy drinks and things like that. So there'll be more than 2 to 3 in that vicinity. Well,
yeah, the fizzy drinks are there, but still, they're mainly concentrated on selling coffees and other bakery products. But this shop won't be selling any hot food or drink. It's just some canned drinks.
Okay. All right. Who's next? Mrs. O'Hawk.
I will be I'll be representing her because she can't speak very good English.
Your English sounded okay to me. I mean, don't be shy.
Speak
But, you know, fine. If you want to make go forward.
I would like to explain from the start when we applied for the license, and before that we didn't have enough information. Like, we have to apply for the trading license and pitch licensing, and we had the penalties, and we learned from there as well, and then we got more knowledge. I have been coming in the council and got some more information, and that's why we applied for the license. And as Ginny explained, everything what we proposed for, and what we would like to do, we would like to sell tobaccos like cigarettes and drinks, not hard drinks, only non-alcohol drinks in there. And it's just like everything is explained in this. We are aware with the objections we received, and to be honest, with those objections, it's just as Carey explained us. We have to go with a planning and contact them, but that's the further stages. But as we are today, we are talking about the pitch license, and as you're talking about the freezers, the chillers at the front, if you see, we have proposed in there are some pictures which shows the different views when we be opening and the closing time after the closing time as well. It shows the chiller will go inside the red boxes, and if you see, if you're talking about the trader, he will be sitting inside. There's enough space, if you could see it. There's enough space inside the red boxes, and as we applying for 1 meter space, he can serve the customers by standing outside as well if he needs to. And if you're talking about any rubbish or anything related to the shop, we will not be using the rubbish bins around the shop. We'll be having our own rubbish bin inside the red boxes where we will be using it. Like, we are aware of all these informations regarding this street trading licensing, and this is all I would like to say.
Okay. Just to cover procedure, what we do is on the summation that you made, we ask for any clarification questions. Then once everybody's had a go, then we can ask questions with each other. Okay. So you said these chillers, freezers, they're going to be stored inside these telephone boxes, then taken out every day and put back in every day.
Oh yeah, of course. It will go. It's not big chillers. It's only a small chillers which will go inside the telephone boxes every day after the during hours, and we'll be bringing them out in the morning.
Right. Rubbish. You said these will be stored within the red boxes. So you've got sufficient space in this to store, or are you going to be taking the waste out during the day? Should there be a need? Say there should be a need to remove this waste. How would you be removing this waste? Do you have some waste? Let me finish first. Yeah. Is there some waste procedure that you have in place, or you're going to have in place to do this? Because I understand there's a lot of these telephone boxes are used all over the country, which is, you know, as a council we want to promote business. So in line with them, do they have any procedures in place, rather or more the ad hoc, as and when?
To be honest, at the minute we don't find enough rubbish be holding inside there. Every day, what the plan was, every day we'll be taking all the rubbish with us. We'll have our own container inside there, and every day after the hours of working, we'll be taking all the rubbish with us. Okay.
2 points. One, how are you going to take this rubbish out, and what kind of method are you going to do it, and what time? You said you're going to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So what are you going to use to take this rubbish out?
It will be only a little bin liners, and we'll be carrying it with us. the trader who will be recruiting you is going to be from this area as well, and he'll be living nearby.
And how will you be disposing of this waste? This is trade waste.
Well, we'll be carrying the with us, and we'll be using our own personal bins.
Your personal, you take them home?
Yeah. There's not going to be a lot of rubbish anyway.
What experience have you had with trading? Is this your first venture, or what kind of experience has? I understand Mrs. Hulk is going to be running it. What experience has she? I mean, Mrs. Hulk, you can speak because your English is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working in Phone Bazaar at ASM.
So you have some experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Your stock for your shop. Could you tell me how you'll be bringing that to your shop, to the telephone box?
We'll be carrying it in our car, and we'll be stocking it before the hours. And there's a little car park in front of it as well. And so there's not a lot of stock we'll be stocking in the red boxes. All the stock we're going to have.
Okay, just hold it. I understand you're using terms like there's not a lot. There's a lot or not. Unfortunately, I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah, if you tell me I'm going to bring in 10 boxes a day, I can understand that. Yeah, when you say not a lot, I'm going to take a bin bag out. I need a few more specifics. Yeah, so I'm taking 2 bin bags out. This is what I'm doing, because on what you say here now is what we can make a judgment on. Yeah, and it might sound a bit pedantic, the questions we're asking, but we need to know, because this is what's been given to us. If we're not quite clear on a few things, we will ask for clarification, and we would expect to have some specifics put before us. So have a think about it. Have a chat with each other. So she's always Mrs. Huck is already sort of doing this. I understand. She said she works somewhere in East Ham. So what time? So you need to be specific. What time are you going to bring the stock to your telephone box? Should you run out of stock during the day? What procedures have you got in place to bring this stock in? Don't forget, this is public highway. Yeah, it's not like a shop that you stocked up from the back or whatever, and you bring stock out. We need to understand, on a very busy parade, how are you going to bring stock in and out, and at what times? What time are you going to set up? So we need to have specific, so we can then obviously make a decision on that.
Okay, thank you. We'll be setting up our shop about 7:30, and we'll be bringing 24 cans of each item. So if it's a drinks, like a fizzy drinks, like a Lucozade, so we'll be bringing 6 Lucozade, 6...
Yeah, you don't need to name the brands, just like soft drinks is fine.
Yes, so we'll be bringing 24 soft drinks, mixture between different brands. And if it's a chocolate, so we'll be bringing 2 chocolates boxes with us as well. And we'll be bringing it 7:30 in the morning, and we'll be bringing it on my own car, like with them, and then the trader can use it and they can sell it. If they run out, then we're not going to, because we not live nearby, we're not going to buy, go and bring new stock for the same day. We'll be bringing the next day.
So are you leasing this out as a third party, or somebody you're going to employ somebody to do this for you?
At the minute, we have to run it ourselves, and in future, we might have to recruit someone, because there's long hours and 7 days as well. So she won't be able to do 7 days.
Okay, I'm done. Councillor Barnes.
Thank you. Just on that, to both of you, On your application form, it says you're proposing 2 staff full-time and 2 staff part-time, so that's not happening just yet then, is that correct?
We're supposed to recruit someone because there was objections and the licensing was taking that long, so we stopped. We did not propose anyone, recruit anyone. So we will be working ourselves for the first few months, and then we will recruit more people.
And could you clarify, are they going to be aware of the policy of things like where the rubbish is going to be sitting and how to dispose of it if you're not there or if you're running late or things like that?
They will have full training, full information. We have this package as well with us, and before they start with us, they will have a training and health and safety and all these information with them.
Councillor Allen.
Can I ask, I've noticed that you're trading under the name of Original Warriors Limited. Do you own that company?
Yeah.
So you're registered at Company House?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bearing in mind the past run-ins you've had regarding licensing, can I ask what training you've had on licensing?
To be honest, not trading on the licensing because she's working with someone already, and I work with different retailers as well. So not with a licensing. That's why we had that problem. Like we didn't have enough information, so you have to apply for the license when you go to the high street. So, but with the passage of time, we learn our lesson, and then we know more information. We have more information about it.
So can I ask you to expand a bit how you come to take over the telephone boxes when you've had no licensing, training? How did that come about?
I was the one who was looking for the little business for her, and I was looking for from a long time. Then I found this opportunity, which looks.
Can I be clear? You're saying you own Original Warriors?
She owns Original Warrior.
You own. So you're not trading under an umbrella company?
No, Original Warrior only owned by Mrs. Hart, and she owns it, and then she'll be running this business on the high street.
Thank you. Right, now, can I ask some other questions, please?
Clarifications, yeah?
It's on there, the cigarettes they are proposing to sell. How, bearing in mind the law is you cannot display them.
Yeah, we have that information.
You have that information?
Yeah.
Can I ask how you propose to store them
Yeah.
every night after you've finished trading?
We can leave that for the discussion stage. If everybody has a go first, yeah, and then I think we're moving into the realms of the discussion stage. So it's just on the statement that's been made by the applicant or applicant's representative. Any questions on that?
Leave it, please.
Okay. Councillor Yarra.
Thank you, Chairman. I mean, I certainly not going to speak for a long time. It's a very simple statement, and I believe that there is not enough physical space within the proposed trading location, and that any trading activity would have an adverse effect on the surrounding area by causing obstructions to persons or vehicles using the street. And listening to what has been said, I'm interested in where, if they're going to move things into the vicinity with a car, where is it going to park? Because there's no parking in the high street. I know there's a little road goes up the side of it going up towards the back of the station, but that's not available for just parking your car and dropping things off. So there's an issue straight away there that will cause an obstruction. When you look at the photographs, it looks as though there's nobody around hardly. There's just a few people walking across between the pavilions and the railway and the station. I don't know when that was taken, but it's not like that in real terms. It's a very busy area. And whereas I accept that what the applicant has said, that there's only going to be one person being served at a time, what happens when a queue develops where several people want to get buy their wares, and that's when the problem will occur. And we also have to take into consideration that and I don't know when the final application is going to be approved or rejected or whatever, but Christmas is coming, and that is an extremely busy time on the station forecourt, because Christmas trees are going to be sold almost next door to where this is about to open. So there's going to be congestion, and it's a simple objection. It might sound awful. I'm not against people being entrepreneurial or trying to open up a new business. The question is, would this business have been opened there had there not been a couple of telephone boxes that seem to be available? And the answer is no, it wouldn't have been put there, because it's not the right place. It's an opportunity for them to do that. But I would refer back to a statement that the officer made at the beginning, that planning consent had been given, both listed building and normal planning consent. And it's my understanding that there's no listed building consent being given, and that is the problem. I don't want to delve into that. That's not part of this meeting. We must stick absolutely clearly to just licensing considerations. So my objection is it's going to cause an obstruction, both with traffic and with people's footfall across the station parade. And I'm speaking on behalf of Councillor Burrows as well, who can't be here today, and that we are in agreement that there's going to be some kind of congestion. And you have the difficult job of deciding whether the officers are correct in saying there won't be, or whether the ward councillors who know the area are saying there will be. That's all I have to say, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Yarrow, any questions, councillors? Okay. We can now move into discussion. I'll start off, Chinny. Comments made by both Councillor Burrows and Councillor Yarrow. I get their point about, if it's not being used, it should be taken away. It'll open up the space, but it's a Grade 2 listed building, so it can't go. So okay, fine. So the point about not enough space and footfall, and once again, regards to grounds for refusal under a policy on point D, 7.2 on page 15. Can we just answer that question, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Like I said before, the highways are best place to comment on this, which is why every street trading application is they are consulted for every street trading application, and they have come back to us saying that they do not envisage any safety issues, and they think that there will be enough physical space within the proposed trading location, because it's only a pitch for 1 meter, and so they do not envisage any problems as such. And on the back of what Councillor Yarrow said, there's no listed consent. If we refer to page 45 of the pack, that's Appendix 5.2, planning permission for retail purposes. So on the next page, which is page 46, under the heading informatives, and then where it says Part 1 policies, they have mentioned heritage there. So they took into consideration also the heritage side of the buildings. And I have spoken to planning officers, and I was told that they have those telephone boxes are Grade 2 listed buildings or structures, installations, and those were taken into consideration when the planning permission was granted for change of use for retail purposes. Thank you.
Page 45. On page 4, I just noticed change of use of 3 redundant telephone kiosks. What's the application is? That's for the 2?
Yes, the street trading application is only for the first 2 from the first 2.
So we are saying there is enough physical space this has come back from the highways. That's the main concern that I'm getting from Councillor Yarrow.
Yes, Chairman.
Because that is also obviously one of the objectives regards public safety. Mrs. Hulk or Mr. Khalid can answer that. Where are you going to purchase your stock from?
We'll be purchasing it from the local high street. There's a pound land where we bought it before. We bought them in a bulk, and then you can sell it on the retail price.
And your tobacco?
Tobacco from the same, not from the pound land, but from the same, like a wholesalers, where we'll be buying it in a bulk, like 24 packets each time, and then we'll be selling it each packet on the retail.
Are these registered wholesalers, are they?
Of course, they will be registered wholesalers.
And you are VAT registered?
Not at the minute, but in future, if we hit the amount we're supposed to, then we will get registered.
So if somebody came down to your kiosk selling cigarettes at a very good price, would you purchase them?
No, of course we won't. We only purchase from the...
If they happen to be in a white, blue, yellow van?
No, we won't. Of course we won't.
They're very cheap?
No, we won't.
Okay, councillors. Oh, both hands up. Right. Let's have a pick. Councillor Barnes.
Thank you, Chairman. I just, to the pair of you, just comments that Councillor Yarrow made is, could you just explain your understanding of the area that you know of Uxbridge Town Centre, and how are you going to deal with the congestion for footfall? Because there will be, because we have Uxbridge Underground Station right next to where your pitch wants to be, and there is masses of people come out of there at peak times, as well as going into Christmas with all Christmas shoppers and the florist directly to the right. Could you just explain how you're actually going to deal with that?
As you must have read it in the proposal as well, we're going to recruit more people if we need to. We know it's a busy area, that's why we're trying to open a little business in here. There were other opportunities as well. We've been to all other places, but we came in here because this one was a most busy area where we want to have this little business, and we will have more people who will be serving the customers as well. And this is how she'll be working there, and I'll be helping her as well if I need to. Then in future we'll be recruiting more people.
Carry on.
On that note then, you said earlier that if your stock runs out during the day, you're not going to come back and fill it up. My perception of that is there's a contradiction, because you're saying that you want the area because the business is there, but if you're only going to bring a limited amount of stock, then it runs out. How are you actually going to make any money from it?
We don't want to break the policies and the rules, and we don't want to have any obstructions on the road. So if we lose little bit of money for the day, we can afford that, but we're not going to bring the stock, and because there, as you mentioned, there's no parking after day, so we're not going to bring the stock. We're going to have enough. We think we're going to have enough stock in both of the chillers. We have 2 telephone boxes where we can stock a little bit as well. And I don't think we're going to run out, but if we run out, we're not going to go back and bring some more stock. Sure.
Councillor Allen.
You say you're going to buy your stock from Poundland or a local. So where's the profit there? The other thing is, bearing in mind, not everybody smokes the same brand. I mean, I could go out of here now and say, hands up all those who smoke, and you'll get the hands up or hands down. But when you ask them for their brands, they would be all over the shop. How do you, and you're saying you will only have buy, a carton at a time, how do you propose to sell them when somebody will come up and say, I want some cigarettes, and are you going to say, no, sorry, I've only got whatever the brand is, which you'd be breaking the law if you told them you only had one brand, because you're not allowed to advertise?
I never said we're going to have one brand. I said we have different brands. We have 24 cans of different brands. No, the cigarettes we're going to have a different brands as well. We're not just going to have one cigarette brand. We're going to have a different brand of cigarettes as well. And
I think that's okay. I don't think that will have much weight in terms of our decision making of what brands you sell. It's more the case of how you're transporting it to and from, and the stock covers it. I don't think that will have any bearing. I'm just getting some advice from legal as well on that. Yeah, how they choose, and if they choose to stock the full whack, that's really is up to them. Sorry, any more questions? Okay. How do you propose to actually keep the area clean? You understand you've got to keep it at least 5 metres from around your... at least 5 metres around the street pitch. How do you propose to keep it clean and tidy?
I don't think we're going to have a lot of mess in there anyway, because we're not selling the stuff which creates mess in there. It's kind of, we have cans and we have cigarettes and chocolates and all that. But if there is any mess around there, we clean ourselves. We have our bin inside the box as well. So we'll be using, if there is anything in there, we'll be looking after it as well, any mess around there.
So how would you, could you tell me a little bit more detail, how do you propose to sort of clean it? Is it sort of broom and brush, or hoover, or is it pressure washer? What is it?
Of course, broom and brush. We'll be having that. We'll be using that. But I have been there for a little while, but I didn't see there's enough mess we created before when we opened, before the license we had.
Okay, that's loosely sort of answered it. Now, one of the points for the street trade licence we need to consider is the need for the area. Now, I understand Ginny from the Regulatory Authority has said there's a few retailers supplying. So, are you aware of how many people are selling cigarettes, soft drinks, chocolates? What else have you put in your application? That's about it, wasn't it? Soft drinks, fizzy drinks, confectionaries, and cigarettes. Are you aware how many other retailers are there?
Yeah, there's only one right outside the Uxbridge station. He's selling tobaccos and fizzy drinks and the chocolates. There's 2 coffee shops. One is Costa and one opposite of it as well. But they're not selling fizzy drinks. They're not selling tobaccos. But the rest of the shops on the other side of the high street, not on this area. So all we're aware of is there's only 1 or 2 shops, no more than that.
But we're not talking about the other side of the high street. We're talking about something somewhere where people can walk within sort of 30 seconds from your pitch. Yeah, it's major supermarkets, bakers. You mentioned, I think, W.H. Smith's, Poundland. There's a shop right behind your kiosks. Yes, sells sandwiches, drinks. There's not one tobacco supply. There's 2.
Yeah, there's 2.
That's one there, which is 3 or 4 shops down. You have, I believe, a major medical store. I think it's called Boots. Is there? They sell drinks as well.
Not tobacco stuff.
No, yeah, that's part and parcel. So the question I would ask is, how would you sort of persuade the committee to say there is a need for what you're going to sell? And it's got to be quite tangible, because there has to be a need for it.
Of course, as we know, it's a very busy area outside Uxbridge, and there's a lot of customers, and there's only, if you're saying there's only 2 shops before us, and one is outside the station, and as I know, there's only one outside the station for the tobaccos and fizzy drinks and confectionaries.
There's two.
Oh, okay, let's take
it's not a question of is there one or two.
Of course,
there's
let's
two.
Take 2 shops.
Because I also go down there regularly. So I don't smoke, by the way, but you know.
So there is two. If there is 2 shops, and then in the busy area, I don't think the 2 shops enough. There's more than 1,500 people must be visiting in the morning, or more than that. So I think 2 shops are not enough.
Okay.
Back on the cigarette trail again. Can you tell me, are you going to be taking the cigarettes away every night and bringing them back every morning, or do you propose to leave them on site? Bearing in mind there's a security issue and.
To be honest, we'll be carrying the cigarettes with us because cigarettes are very expensive.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But bearing in mind we are talking about a number of brands. We're not going into that, but we're talking about, you know, it won't be 20 packets. It will be a vast amount. Will you be taking them home with you every night and bringing them back with you?
Not all of the stock, but some of the stock we'll be taking with us.
So you will be leaving cigarettes in the kiosks overnight?
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but some of them?
Some of them.
Any more questions? Okay. Right, closing remarks from each party. We'll go in reverse order now. Yep. Reminder from legal. Are you aware of the licensing objectives that we work to?
Yeah, of course.
Go on, tell me what they are.
With the trading pitch licensing.
Whatever you perceive it to be.
It's just the application what we applied for?
Yeah, there's objectives, 4 objectives that we work to. Are you aware of them?
I must have gone through, but I'll forget it. If you can...
Public safety is one?
Yes.
Yeah? I've started it. Let's see if you can finish it off one.
No.
Okay, fair enough. You know, prevention of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance, protecting children from harm. But for a street trading license, they've got a few other bits and pieces. But, you know, we understand where you're coming from anyway. So
thank you.
Right. Closing remarks from each party. We'll go in reverse order. So we start with Councillor Yarrow first.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I really haven't anything further to add. I think what the information that I've heard from the applicant doesn't change my mind that there is still going to be some kind of congestion around that area. So the decision rests with this committee.
As you know full well. Ginny.
None at the moment, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Hulk or Mr. Khalid? This is just the closing remarks.
Sorry. We explained everything in the application and everything in front of today as well. So this is temporary license for 6 months. I think if we get a chance to prove ourselves with the safety and the behaviour over there and whatever the objections was, I think if we get a chance, we can prove ourselves, and I think we can be a part of this community as well, and we'll be best for all the customers. We have good experience. I have good experience. You have good experience as well, and I think if we get a chance, then we can prove ourselves, and that would be really appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much. We're now going to go into to deliberate. So I would ask everybody to leave. Please take all your bags, laptops, whatever you might have, and then we'll call you back when we made our decision. Thank you.